New York Giants fans, I know I usually say things that are a little bit different than what many of the other Giants content creators would say. But I've got this, it's just this thing in my mind and I can't get it out. And I'm hoping that you will just indulge me for a little bit, right? Just hear me out. That's all I ask. I'm Coach Gene Clemons, and I have a giant issue. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of A Giant Issue. I am Coach Gene Clemons. New York Giants on SI. That's where you get all your New York Giants news and information from. Make sure you go over there. Check out everything that we're doing over there. I have a good, great, and ugly out on Jackson Dart right now in his first game performance. You should see a player that I'd love to see the Giants steal from New Orleans. He's an oldie but a goodie. You know, you might even see some matchup stuff from me over there. So check out everything that we're doing over at the New York Giants on that side. Shout out, salute to everyone that's over there. And also, right? And also, come on over here to the New York Giants on that side YouTube channel. Get us to 3,000. I've been saying it. I'll keep saying it. It'll happen. But I'd like it to happen right now. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Shout out to you, Big Moo. I know you always do. I'm still processing life without Malik Neighbors. I know a lot of you may be doing the same thing over there, and I kept going back and forth because I heard all of the reports this week of, well, not reports, but like all of the people saying, "Hey, the Giants need to go out and trade for a wide receiver. The Giants need to bring in Odell Beckham off the street or some other on wide receiver. They need to bring back some wide receiver that's on the practice squad somewhere else because they have ties to the Giants." I have another theory, and I wonder what you guys think about it. What if, just what if, we treated Darius Slayton like he was Malik Neighbors? All I'm asking for you to do is hear me out. That's it. Now, what do I mean when I say treat Darius Slayton like Malik Neighbors? If we're being honest about it, right? Through this first year and 3.5 games that we've seen the Malik Neighbors in actual football games, right? There has been a couple of catches that I can point to and say, oh, that was otherworldly. That was alien-like. Nobody else on this team can do that. Outside of that, if we're being honest, the reason why Malik Neighbors has had the success he's had is because he was targeted more than almost anyone else in the league. So I think about that, and you've heard me make the argument for Darius Slayton before, but I just want you to think about this. How was the Giants getting Malik Neighbors the football the most? It wasn't on down the field passes. A lot of it was short to intermediate passes. Lots and lots of targets. What if, just what if, they said, hey, we're going to target Darius Slayton the exact same way we target Malik Neighbors. We're going to give Darius Slayton the Malik Neighbors blueprint, the Malik Neighbors playbook. We're going to target, think about it. You can still target Wan'Dale Robinson. Now the former Darius Slayton catches or targets, now they would go to Jalen Hyatt, which makes a lot of sense, right? Because how have they been targeting Darius Slayton? They've been using him as a deep threat, intermediate threat, right? So now you're using Jalen Hyatt like that. But instead of just doing some haphazard thing where you try to get the ball to everyone equally, get the ball in the hands of Wan'Dale like you've been doing over the last year and a half. But pepper Darius Slayton with the exact same amount of targets as you were peppering Malik Neighbors and just see what happens, right? Just do a beta test. Like, what happens if we throw Darius Slayton 13, 15 targets in the game, right? Like, what happens if we treat him this exact same way that we've been treating Malik Neighbors in his time with the Giants? Because then I think you'll get a better understanding of who you have at wide receiver in Darius Slayton, because I still contend that this team has not figured out exactly what they have in Darius Slayton. Yeah, they re-signed him, right? Yeah, they gave him they re-signed him. So they clearly know that he's valuable, but to what extent? Right? To what extent? Malik Neighbors got 12 targets in the first game versus Washington. He got 13 targets at Dallas. Then he got 7 targets in that embarrassing loss to Kansas City. And he already had 3 targets before he was hurt in the LA Chargers game. So just looking at that and saying to yourself, Malik Neighbors had 35 targets through essentially 3 games and a quarter. 3 and a quarter, right? 3 and a quarter games. He had 35 targets. That is a boatload of targets. That's an asinine amount of targets. What happens if you give Darius Slayton those exact same targets? And here's the fear. Here's the fear. You figure out, oh my God, we gave Darius Slayton all those targets and he produced similar to not better, if not better, numbers than Malik Neighbors. Does it make him better than Malik Neighbors? No. Does it mean that maybe there might be something off in the way we're distributing these targets? And maybe when we get Malik Neighbors back and now we have all of these other wide receivers in the fold, maybe we put a little bit more respect on Darius Slayton's name? Absolutely. I still contend y'all should get ready for Darius Slayton's first 1,000-yard season this year. I think it's happening this year because I don't see how, if you target him at half the rate that you're targeting Malik Neighbors right now, if you give him 6 to 7 targets a game, I don't see how he doesn't catch 4, maybe 5 in some cases, for enough yards over the next 12 games in order to generate enough yards for 1,000 yards. I just think it's impossible. Like, to me, the math just bears that out. And so I keep going back to this idea of when someone goes down, when a star goes down, why they don't ever audition another star, right? Like, if you have a star on your, like, this is what happens in the theater. In the theater, you have a first, and then you have a someone who's the backup, someone who is the person to stand in, the number 2. You might even see, like, in a Broadway play that the lead, they'll do all of the shows, and then on Sunday or a Saturday matinee, you might actually get the backup that comes in and runs lead. That's the day off for the lead. Like, but if something was to happen to that lead and they were not comfortable with the person who was backing them up, they would audition people for the role, right? You might see in the next 3 performances, because the show must go on, right? You might see 3 different people play that lead role if they're not happy with the first one. So my thing is that whenever Hollywood has a star, when that star falls out of grace for whatever reason, they don't just go, oh my gosh, the world is over. They just start throwing other names at you until someone emerges as a star. And guess how they do it? They run the same playbook for that new person that they ran for the previous star. Some people are stars, some people are not. Right? Some people get that push and they don't do anything with it. Like there's no heat behind them, there's no flame behind them. And so they can't ascend to the next level. And then some people take that opportunity and they run with it and they become stars. Right? For whatever people want to say about Taylor Swift, and shout out to her with her new album that just dropped. I think it's some heat on there. I like a good 5, maybe 6 joints. The second half of the album, way better than the first half. But like there were a lot of people that tried to run that Taylor Swift like playbook. They just haven't been able to do it. And then came along Sabrina Carpenter, who's running a very similar playbook to Taylor Swift. And lo and behold, it's working. But there were a lot of these girls who came out as country girls, right? Country music girls who wanted to try to cross over into pop and never quite made the crossover. Remember Carrie Underwood was trying to cross over into pop a little bit, never could do it, had to stick to the rivers and the lakes that she was used to. Like opportunity is either going to allow you to rise to the occasion or we're going to find out you are who we thought you were. Yet we've never been able to say that about Darius Slayton. Why? Because Darius Slayton has never been targeted like that in his career. You can say whatever you want about Darius Slayton. Say whatever you want. I guarantee you his targets have never looked like this. 7, 18, 12, 15, 8, 13, 11, 10, 9, 13, 10, 14, 14, 8, and 8. That was Malik Neighbors' targets. He missed 2 games, and he still had 170 targets. He only caught 109 passes. If you're paying attention at home, that is a 64.1% completion percentage, right? Catch percentage. That's not good. That is someone who's a volume shooter. That's Kobe. Like that's Kobe when he's not efficient. Right? That's MJ on the off night. Right? Darius Slayton has never been able to operate in those waters. Darius Slayton has never been allowed. And you can tell me, oh, well, it's because Malik Neighbors is more talented than Darius Slayton. And I can believe you. You want me to believe that he's faster than Darius Slayton? Because I see Darius Slayton fly by people regularly. I see Malik Neighbors in a lot of contested catch situations. And I'm not saying Malik Neighbors is slow, right? I'm not saying he's slow. I'm saying that there obviously is something about the way in which Darius Slayton takes the top off that allows him to look like he's running wide open when balls are thrown at him. Don't know what it is, right? Again, I'm not saying Darius Slayton is Malik Neighbors. I'm saying, what if he's treated like Malik Neighbors? This is Darius Slayton at the height of his opportunities in New York. His best season was his second year in the league. That was his best season as far as targets, because this is what I'm focused on right now, right? His targets in 2020: 9, 6, 7, 7, 11, 4, 3, 9, 1, 7, 2, 1, 8, 9, 8, 4. That's 96 targets. 96 targets. He only caught 50 of them. It's one of his worst catch percentage seasons, right? He had 751 yards in 50 catches. It's 15 yards a reception. But watch how he improved because 3 years later, 2023, right? He had 79 receptions for 770, sorry, not 79 receptions, 79 targets. He caught the same 50 balls on 20 less attempts, 20 less targets for 770 yards. That same 15 yards per reception. Now imagine if he got the 90 something targets at the 63.3 catch percentage than if he got the 90 something at the 50.1 catch percentage. Right? Because that makes the difference. Because if I have 95 targets and I catch 61% of them, I catch 57 passes. That's 58 passes. That's 8 more receptions than he had the year before. I'm averaging 15 yards a reception, right? 8 times 5 is 40. 8 is times 10 is 80. That's 120 yards extra on top of the 770. So now we're talking about 920 yards on less than 100 receptions. Now give him 140. Give him 140 targets and see what it looks like. Because you have nothing to lose in this case. Like, you can do all the things that you still want to do, right? You can still target Wan'Dale Robinson the same way. Last season, while Malik Neighbors was getting 140 targets, Wan'Dale Robinson was getting over 100 targets himself. Right? Last year, when Malik Neighbors got 140 targets, or 170 targets, Wan'Dale Robinson got 140 targets. He caught 93 passes, had 699 yards. So clearly he's not the number one. But he's still going to be able to get the targets. He's on pace for a boatload of targets again this year. He's got 27 through 4 games already. That's almost 7 targets a game. If you extrapolate that over 17 games, right? That's well over 100 targets. Am I making these up? Right? This ain't out of nowhere. If I'm going to give somebody 120 targets who last year only got me 7.5 yards of reception, but this year is on pace for 13.2 yards of reception, and then I gave the guy who I haven't given a lot of targets to over the years elite level targets to be like Malik Neighbors, like, I could see him having a record year. I think he gets more yards than Malik Neighbors got last year. I honestly do. Even right now, I think if you give Darius Slayton 170 targets, if you give Darius Slayton 140 targets, I think his yards per reception will hold. Will it be as high? Maybe not. But will it still be double digits and by a good amount? Absolutely. Again, this doesn't make him better than Malik Neighbors, because I don't think Malik Neighbors is being fully utilized to his full potential. I haven't seen the screen packages from Neighbors. I haven't seen Neighbors with the ball in his hands on the run game. I haven't seen them invest in Malik Neighbors as the do everything guy that he can be. I felt like it was going to come, but he had to be established as a wide receiver 1 first. Well, now he's gone. He's gone. And we know that when these receivers come back from these knee injuries, it's a coin flip on whether or not it's 1 to 2 years before they're back to their normal selves. And some are never the same again. But here's Darius Slayton. He's just a man looking at a coaching staff, looking at a fan base, asking them to love him. That's it. He's just asking them to show him the love and the respect that they showed to a rookie wide receiver who had never caught a pass in the NFL. Because last year, and I've talked about this before, this is nothing new. I'm not hitting you with any brand new facts, right? Last season, when they barely threw the ball to Darius Slayton, last season, when he played in 16 games and started 13, he got 71 targets. 71 targets, right? And in 71 targets, he caught 39 passes for 573 yards. The man almost had as many yards as Wan'Dale Robinson, and Wan'Dale Robinson had damn near 100 receptions. I'm not talking about fantasy here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about reality. In fantasy, give me Wan'Dale Robinson all day. His catch percentage is crazy. Except, here's the cool caveat. This year so far, Darius Slayton has been targeted 12 times. He's caught 9 passes for 135 yards. That is 15 yards of reception. That is on pace with his best seasons ever. In his best seasons ever, he has averaged over 15 yards per reception. His highest, 15.7. He's got 2 seasons of 15.4 and 1 season at 15. His off season, his off year, the year where he was hurt a lot, he had 13. He was 13 yards of reception. Tell me why we can't give that man the football, close our eyes, and pretend it's Malik Neighbors. Because Malik Neighbors isn't coming back. And even though people don't want to hear it, Wan'Dale Robinson can't be your wide receiver 1. Or excuse me, I don't know if people don't want to hear that. But as much as people like Wan'Dale Robinson, they know Wan'Dale Robinson is not a wide receiver number 1. As much as they might have hope that Jalen Hyatt is going to be like good, there's no way I'm saying that Jalen Hyatt can come in and do what Malik Neighbors has done. There's only one receiver on this team who has produced at a high level for the New York Giants. And not just for this regime, for multiple regimes. It's Darius Slayton. So why not give him the shot? Why not give him a chance? And guess what happens if he fails? Nothing. Nobody expects you guys to do well anyway. Nobody expects this team, including the New York Giants fan base. Nobody expects this team to make a playoff run. Nobody expects this team to just all of a sudden beat everybody. Most people are saying, hey, this New Orleans game is the Giants' best chance at a win over the next 4 to 5 weeks. Because after that, it's murderer's row of competition. Right? So why not let it all hang out in New Orleans? Why not throw Darius Slayton those slants and those hitches and those stop routes and those out routes and those digs that you've been throwing to Malik Neighbors? Yeah, you're going to throw the balls that go over the top, right? You're going to throw them the go balls. You're going to throw them the deep shots. But what about all the other passes that you give to Neighbors that you've never really given to Slayton like that consistently? Why not try him this time? Again, this is a win-win situation for the Giants, because if they treat Darius Slayton like Malik Neighbors and then he puts up Malik Neighbors' numbers, you have him under contract. Now this becomes a Jamar Chase, T. Higgins situation. We got two of those. If it doesn't work out, you're probably losing games anyway. You're going to go into the draft. You're going to choose one of two players. You're going to choose a tackle, right? Or a really legit guard, something. You're going to choose one of those, or you're going to find another wide receiver to pair with Malik Neighbors coming off of injury. You might try to go defensive back, but you're going to have a high draft pick if it doesn't work. But if it does, imagine the storylines. His girlfriend, Anna Hall, just won the world championships in the decathlon. He's been written off as a wide receiver number one when Malik Neighbors came in, and then Malik Neighbors gets injured, and out of chance, Darius Slayton gets the opportunity of a lifetime to essentially become Malik Neighbors, and it works. Will it look the same as Neighbors when he's moving with the ball in his hands? No. But who gives a damn if the production is still good? Who gives a damn if the production is still there? I don't. Why should you? But it doesn't hurt to give him a chance. And I've never seen the Giants give him that opportunity. Now is the time. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we had today. New York Giants on SI. Make sure you go and get all of that. Make sure that you check out everything we're doing over there. You want to be in on it. You want to be tuned on it. Make sure that you join me. Make sure I'm not misspeaking, right? Make sure you join me this Sunday, halftime of the New York Giants game versus New Orleans, right? That 1 p.m. game. I'll join you live at halftime for my live reaction. Thank you to everybody that has shown up and chilled and left comments. It's fun. It's the best 12 minutes you're going to get in between halves to see what's going on from somebody that you know is watching. So make sure you come and check out and hang out with me there. Check out all the things I'm doing all over the place. Follow me at social media at Gene Clemons, Coach Gene Clemons YouTube channel, Fantasy Life, everywhere. I really do appreciate it. Until next time, I'm Coach Gene Clemons. I have a giant issue.